Hi everybody, I'm here in the train. Welcome to morning coffee break. I'm just going to be quiet here at the first. thinking that I'm gonna have to end up cutting down the stump flower tree. It's dead. I don't have any extra money to. I was thinking about putting some decorations on it, like make it into a little Christmas tree. They're over there working, getting rid of some of that brush. But I was thinking about decorating it, but we don't have the extra money to do anything like that. So I think I'm gonna just cut it down at the base. And Mom said that way it'll might grow back that way. But I don't think it'll even. I mean, it would hold stuff, but like I said, I'm not gonna spend extra money to put stuff on this. If I can find some stuff in there that's extra. We just got a little tree we're gonna have this year, a little artificial one. Some of those plants are still alive down there. This one, see, got a bud on it. I wonder if those others ever grew that were down here. It's still got the bud on it, but it's not doing anything. And this one too. Looks like it was trying to. I don't know. I hear a plane. I haven't uncovered the garden yet. It's a little cool out. It was 30 when I got up. It feels pretty warm now though. Let's see what she looks like. Oops. Hey everybody. You look pretty good. Yeah. Over to my head. Oh yeah. Everybody looks fine. There we go. Yeah, everybody's looking good. Beets and turnips and Russian kale. I don't know if those onions will amount to anything or not. They're just kind of like leftovers. All that back there, one thing about it, we got plenty of turnip greens we can have. Nothing else. But I've seen some growing. The beets and turnips are about not the size of a golf ball yet. They're a little bit bigger than like a jumbo jawbreaker or something. The radishes are hanging in there. And I've never grown cauliflower or cabbage, so I don't know what this cauliflower, if it's doing anything really or not. If it's supposed to look like that, or but you can see the little cabbage in there. All right, everybody, I'm going to go in and get set up, and I've got a story for story time. See everybody in a bit. All right, I'm back. Kitty's having a good old time in the front, but in the bay window in the living room, watching them cut those branches down from that tree they cut down across the street. She's having fun with it. So I got my coffee. Wake up and smell the coffee, everyone. All right. I didn't even have a story time for today, but it hit me all of a sudden, and I remembered a story. I don't know how many more I'll have, although just have to pop in my head like it did, or I wouldn't have had one this morning. This story time happened in 2013. We had just had a new roof put on. Our roof was horrible, and we just had a new roof put on. They had just finished, and they were just like cleaning up. They were going to come back and clean up the next day. And a bad storm came through, a really bad one. And in this area right here, we had straight line winds of 80 mile an hour. I don't know if you could call that a tornado. I think they just call it just that, straight line winds. Well, we had some huge trees. You don't see them because they're gone, but we had some down where there's a circle of stuff growing. If y'all have seen down here, that looks like vines or something or other. That is a circle that had a tree in it, and they had built, whoever did it had built a cinder block thing around it in a circle, and it went down, so far, and you could see the trunk of the tree down in it. Okay, so that tree, those winds hit it, and it fell, and it's not that far from our house to begin with, but when it fell, it missed our new roof in the part where the garage is back there. It missed it by about 4 foot. I could hear something. It sounded like, I don't know what it sounded like when it hit. Like a bomb going off, because it was huge, y'all. I'm not even kidding. It would have gone, if it had fallen the other way, it would have gone way across the street. I mean, I don't even know how big at the bottom it was. It was monstrous. Probably at least, I don't know, maybe 4 foot in diameter. I don't know if that's even right. It might be more. But anyway, so it fell. Well, also other people all around this area here had trees fall, because if you've seen people love trees here, they got them everywhere. So it wasn't like anybody could get to us that soon if we had something going on. Our power stayed on somehow. Most of the people's power was off. God helped us out there, because our power stayed on. But I went out and looked at the trunk of that tree, and what had happened was we'd had so much rain. It being down in the ground like that with that thing around it, water had built up in it, almost not like a pool, but water had built up down there, and it had caused some rotting on the trunk, and you didn't see it really from the outside, but when it broke, you could tell it was just rotted on one part of it all the way through, and that was the weak point that allowed it to fall. with that amount of winds. So eventually it probably would have at some point in time, for sure. So it might have been God's plan that it just needs to go, So naturally, every day, let me see something. Every day, probably, I don't know how many tree services came by. Of course, they were wanting to make money, and I was like, guys, we're just like, now we didn't have any money. We don't have a savings account or anything. And so I was like, they wanted like over $1,000. Each one was over $1,000 to cut it up and put what they can to the road, and I don't even know, and to take it away, over 1,000. Some were about 1,400. I was like, no way, I'm sorry you came by. I can't help, can't do it. So we didn't know what we was gonna do. Even the news channel, the local news channel, came by and filmed us out there trying to clean it up. I wish I had that tape now. I wish I'd had a way. I didn't know how to save it in any way off TV anyway. I didn't know. I probably wouldn't know how to do it now even. But yeah, we were on the news, and they were showing, this different places in this neighborhood that were affected, and they interviewed us and everything. And I was like, yeah, if any of y'all want some free wood, come on out, And they ended up editing a lot of it out, of course, and they showed about half of what they filmed with us. And so the city came by, and they were assessing this whole area, I guess, and they came by and they were like, there was another hickory tree over there on the side. That's where the stump flowers are growing right now. And it was big too. It was really big, almost as big as the other one. And they said, you need to have this tree cut down because we're afraid. See, the other one was blocking a lot of the wind from it. They said, we're afraid that this tree will fall because it's not got the protection it had from the other tree. And I was like, and see what it is it would hit. It was so big, it would have, if it fell this way or if it fell that way out there, it would have hit those big power lines and stuff. So I was like, I can't afford to do it. They said, well, what if we took it down? I said, the only way I'll let y'all do that is if you clean up the other one and take it off too. And I said, both of them need to be gone. Of course they can put some stuff at the road, but the big parts and everything, I said I wanted everything gone. So they thought about it for a while, and they said, okay, we'll do that. That's how much they want to protect these lines out here. And I don't think the tree would have fallen any time, but if it ever did, it would hit them, if it fell that way. So, and they cut several others back here that were a danger to the lines. But I said, if you'll do it all, which would have cost me a fortune, I said I'll agree to that. So they did. But what I did was anybody that wanted wood, if they called me or if they were a tree service or anything, I said, if you want some of this wood, come and get all you want, because before they finish up, So when they were gone at night, when they would leave, several would come and get some of that good hickory, and that was really great. And I saved the shavings from their chainsaws, that stuff that comes out that's like fluffy and everything. The shavings, I saved about 3 whole bags, garbage bags, big garbage bags of them, for my grill, and I gave a couple of them to my brother Scott, and I've still got some of it out there. I think I showed on one morning coffee break out there, and it's great for you soak them in water and then put them on your coals, or either you can put them, I have a little tin thing I call it my redneck smoker, a little thing that I put them in and then it smokes through it. It's 2 pie pans put together with holes in it. But it works really good. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah, so ended up, both of them were cleaned up. Of course, at the end there, they had left where the tree had, a bunch of those big branches and stuff had stuck into the ground, and their trucks had made big old divots in our yard and everything. And I said, y'all can't just leave our yard like that. And it was awful, and it still is awful. It's bumpy now, but they went and brought this thing, and they just hammered it down in there, just hitting this thing down on it, the places, and it did flatten it out some, but they didn't do a great job. But you can still see little places in there where the tire tracks were, if you see it a certain way out there. But it ended, all probably for the good. I would love for that tree to stay, but it was within, you've seen how close it is to the house out there. So it scared us after that too. Like, I don't want a tree right up next to my house, a huge tree, after you've seen what all happened to everybody else too. But the Lord was with us during this whole process. And there's these trees that are back here now. There's one that's dying now. It seems like it's an ash tree. That's what they make baseball bats out of. So I don't know what's going to happen about that. I know we can't afford to have anything done when time comes. But it had leaves on it, but about half as many. So that tells you it's on its way out or something. We'll see in the springtime if it grows some new growth, or if it gets any worse. So hope y'all enjoyed this. Tonight we're having mini corn dogs. I don't really feel like fixing anything tonight, but we're going to have those little mini corn dogs. They're really good, and I don't know what we're going to have with it. We'll figure something out. So, everybody, I hope you enjoyed story time, and please press that like button. Subscribe if you hadn't already, and hit that so you get all my videos as soon as they come out. Everybody have a great day, and I will see you later on. God bless.